with us, it started off in 1973. In that time, they were looking around for workers to eradicate the Ngora burr on the Fitzroy River. The burr started off from Queensland, came over on machinery that didn't go through the borderline. They went through the back country, and that's how the Ngora burr started. So APB had to eradicate it because of all the burr getting onto the cattle and the sheep, wool and the hide, and it was just downfall with the loss of their wool and their cattle. So they had to try and get rid of it somehow. So they employed Aboriginal workers, and my eldest son started working with APB. They didn't give them uniforms, overalls, just singlet and shorts and thongs. No gas, no
Respirator.
Yeah, respirators. And my son is still alive, but he's affected badly. He has his good days, and he has his bad days that he goes off his head, that he can't control his mind, and he's on medication. But I'm lucky that he's still alive with us. But his second eldest brother, where we lived on McClarty Street, we came in from the station from Mount House. We got a place there at McClarty Street next to my uncle, who was the supervisor for the ABB to get the workers to spray on the river. And that was on McClarty Street in Derby, McClarty, and he lived on Knopp Street, and that was Uncle Ivan Watson, who was a supervisor for the boys. When the wet season, where the trucks were parked on the side of the fence from my yard, all the drums, these white containers, from emptying it from the drums into the bottles on their back, what they sprayed on the river, that was all on the back of the truck, and that got washed away in that big rain season, and under the clothesline there was a big hollow, and that's where the children played. My children played with their motorbikes, mini motorbikes, and their Tonka toys and their dolls and prams, and they had all their friends. Home was home for many races of all the family around Derby, and they all congregated there. They would have all been affected, but we try to keep track of what was happening to our family and their friends. From the son, there's the second son. He always had a bit of asthmatic chest, and now it's more worse. He was always losing control of trying to breathe and falling over and things like that. But he's had so many, the doctor call it a heart attack or whatever, but his lungs are infected and things like that. But I always keep saying, tell them about APB, because it was always in the yard where it flowed from the truck onto the clothesline, on the ground, onto the next door neighbours. That next door neighbour's husband only passed away 2 years ago. He had a fully congealed lungs, that he passed away from that. And I put it down to that because they had a hollow in their yard, and it could have been because he loved his gardening as well as I love my gardening. The children ate whatever we planted there, things like that. That's the second son. The daughter, she had blisters all over her body, little blisters, and then it got infected from like little lumps, like a big blister. And I was always scraping out dead skin, trying to pull it out with the tweezers. I'd take it to the community, uh, what's that hospital in Derby? Community Health? Community Health. And Dr. Walsh, Dr. Gregloff, Dr. Spargo. These blisters, I'm pulling out dead skin with the tweezers. What can you do about it? Oh, I'll just give you some white ointment. Put that on and that'll get rid of it. Because she had all these blisters all over her body. As she was growing up into her teens, she couldn't wear bathers with her teenage friends down to the swimming pool. Always had to have a t-shirt to cover her body up because she had all these big blisters all over her body. And I was always pulling it all this dead skin out every time. And I'm saying to the doctor, there's something there. Oh no, here's some white ointment. We just put this on. And she had her first child. When he grew, when he was at that crawling stage, when he had to try to stand up, he kept falling over. I kept putting him in the bathtub to try and massage his muscles as I worked as an OT physio from being a cook. And I'd try to strengthen his muscles, but he kept falling over. But he outgrew that and walked, went to school, done his apprenticeship, became a cook, took my place as a cook, and coming back from Perth, going down to Tom Price for work with his mates, he rang me up before he left Perth and said, "Nan, I've got a surprise for you when I finish my 3 weeks at Tom Price for my next leave, take you up to Darwin for a holiday." I said, "Oh, that'd be lovely." When he said, "But I've got a terrible headache." I said, "Well, get some Panadol from the canteen, from the Tom Price canteen, medical canteen there." And then he told the boys, his offsiders, "Go on ahead and start work, and I'll come there after." He went to his donga, and he had a seizure. They went back then. He said, "No, I've got this headache. It's still there." When they went back the second time, he had the seizure, and on the lino floor of the donga, with his working boots, all the lino was all ripped up where he was having a seizure round, and he didn't gain consciousness. They flew him with the flying doctor plane from the airport. They had to do a slow journey from Perth airport to Royal Perth, a slow journey, and it was 50 minutes from the airport to there. He never regained consciousness. I flew down from here. And the doctor said, life support. We have to put him on the switch because he won't be able to survive because it's just bad in his lungs and whatever. From that, I had to give the permission to end his life, because he was an energetic person, but he always had that headaches. From that was on the 10th of March 2010. His mother was sick with it. She had all these pains. She had a tumour. They took this tumour out from her side of her neck. And it got into her intestines, into her womb. She had 3 children. Kingsley, the one that passed away, he passed away in 2010. She had daughter and son, but the second son, he was erratic type of a person, couldn't settle down. He's around now, but after when his mother passed away, he wouldn't, or not able to, because always complain about headaches and things like that. That was Craig. The daughter's name is Catherine Denise Buckle. The second son is Neil Dennis Buckle. The grandson, Trina's son, is Kingsley. 21st of September, the time for that, when the plane went into that high building, 2000, 2001, yeah, September. Not the Eiffel Tower, well, that tower anyway.
In America.
Yeah, that time.
Twin Towers.
Twin Towers, yeah. I was packing my things to go down to her. I caught the bus from here to her fiance and son and daughter, son and the two sons, and we travelled down from South Headland down to Perth, and she was on that stages of not being able to breathe properly and stuff like that. And then had the same thing, life support had to be switched off because wasn't able to breathe and things like that, and just stomach was all blown up and whatever. They called us for a meeting. They sent us a letter to go down to have a meeting here, different places around Derby, different places in Broome, have a meeting there, and they'd send a total stranger, and we'd have to repeat, and everybody's looked sick and can't breathe, and why are we here? We're repeating our story every year, and there's nothing being done about it. And I used to cry because to see friends that we all grew up together at school, they all not being able to breathe properly and all that, you know? Yeah. People are dying. They're not getting any monuments for their grave. Nothing. They don't even get any compensation. Out of my children, grandchildren, granddaughter was born with a little deformed hand, and she lives an erratic life. She has those moments that she can't breathe. She's got to have the asthmatic pump and all that. That's the other one. There's the son that passed away. His daughter, Lance. Lance's daughter, Serena. But why? Do we have to keep saying why every year? And you're just looking at us and not even doing anything about it.